Our world is a large and complex place, which makes it almost understandable why sometimes people seem to get lost. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 mysterious disappearances. Alaska man who survives in the snow. Can you imagine surviving for 3 weeks with almost no food or water in the snow? Most people wouldn't make it, but a man by the name of Tyson Steele did. He was living in a small cabin in the woods, northwest of Anchorage, Alaska. After living there for a few months, he made a small mistake that could have been fatal. While using his wood stove, he sent a spark out through the chimney and it managed to land on the roof of his home. He didn't realize what had happened until early in the morning when he had awoken to drips of plastic. When he made it outside, he saw his house was entirely in flames. In an attempt to salvage whatever he could, he went back to grab blankets and his rifle. He had a brown Labrador named Phil, who he believed escaped out of the house during the fire. To his dismay, he realized Phil had been caught in the flames only when he heard the dog's cries. He explained the pain and anguish he felt for his beloved dog, describing his scream being so loud and agonizing. Once the fire had settled, Steele went through his shell of a home to collect whatever food was still intact. Unfortunately, most of the canned goods had exploded due to the heat. He found a few cans, and despite the smoke taste, he was happy to have any food for survival. He then created a makeshift tent from a tarpaulin that was inside the cabin and tried to build a dome around the stove. With temperatures below zero, completely alone with no one nearby and surrounded by snow, it is an absolute miracle that he was able to survive. When asked about his techniques in surviving, he explained that he had never had any formal training and had simply spent a lot of time outdoors. Besides that, he had watched a few YouTube videos over the years. So how was he found? After an unusual length of time passed with no contact between Steele and his family, the police went looking for him. Luckily, he was able to keep his wood stove burning with tree bark and a candle he had on him, and used the ash to write SOS in large letters. The authorities were able to successfully rescue him after 3 weeks, taking him back to safety in a helicopter. He went to stay with his family afterwards and spoke about his excitement to spend time with their dogs to help him heal. There's no doubt that many people would not be able to survive this kind of situation. Was Steele lucky, or had he made all of the right moves? No one can be too sure, but we're more than glad he made it out alive. Michael Fissery, Yosemite National Park. 51-year-old Michael Allen Fissery, avid hiker, sadly took his last hike on June 15, 2005 in the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir in Yosemite National Park. He had planned the solo journey to cover Rancheria Falls, Till Mountain and Lake Vernon. Fissery was last seen heading up towards the mountain on the Pacific Crest Trail. His family became concerned when he did not arrive back home on June 19th. This date marked 4 days since Fissery embarked on the hike, and also the day his wilderness permit expired. 2 days later, on June 21st, his family phoned the Park Service and the search had begun. The search consisted of professionals from 5 counties and included aerial searches and rescue dogs. The only thing ever uncovered by the search was a backpack found near Till Mountain, with a topographical map, camera, and bottle of water. Fissery is still missing to this day and as of 2018 remained on the National Park Service's cold cases list. On April 5th, 2012, 7 years after Fissery's disappearance, a comment was displayed in the National Park's Traveller. The author claimed to be Michael's brother, who warns readers about precautions his brother seemed to be missing on his journey. The comment reads, "Michael Fissery, the hiker mentioned above who disappeared in Yosemite in 2005, was my brother. While Michael was never reliant upon technology, I firmly believe he was not adequately prepared for his hike in terms of the equipment he did carry. He apparently deviated from his planned route, which made the search much more difficult. I strongly recommend all hikers to consult any variety of pack lists found on the internet, focusing on the 10 essentials. Please make sure to leave a planned itinerary with at least one person and stick to it. Please, if only for the sake of those who are waiting for you at home, do not attempt even a day hike without being adequately prepared. While Fissery's lack of supplies remains a plausible contributor to circumstances of his loss of life, the lack of evidence is odd. The Park Service spent $452,000 on running a comprehensive search, only to end with only one clue. Searches like this often turn up clothes, equipment, or remains. It is also strange that a backpacker with more than 30 years of wilderness experience would leave behind a backpack. So far, no one has been able to offer sufficient motivation for why Fissery would have abandoned supplies in the first place. Ruthanne Rupert, Yosemite National Park. Ruthanne Rupert is another case of hike turned into tragedy. She was last seen on August 14, 2000, in the Curry Village area of Yosemite National Park at noon. She had originally planned to join a group backpacking in the park, but an eye infection that sent her to Yosemite Valley Medical Clinic also caused her to fall behind the group. Undeterred from adventure, she is believed to have attempted a solo day hike from Yosemite Falls to the Forester area. Rupert was confident in the park, having made 2 trips previously. In general, she is known as a highly experienced backpacker, even making it to the top of Tanzania's Mount Kilimanjaro with a frozen foot. The hike she originally planned to do before the group moved on without her was a 30-mile trip in the backcountry that takes 7 days. The strange part of her decision to explore her own path was that she only took a sweater and minimal other necessities. She did not contact any friends or family about where she planned to go or where she would return. Evidence relating to her disappearance was not found until 2008, 8 years later, when her backpack was uncovered in the Fireplace Creek drainage. This location is along her presumed hiking route, but nothing else has ever been found. Her family has made statements to suggest that Rupert does not match the profile of a runaway and that they suspect foul play. To this day, no one is quite sure where Rupert is, if she is alive, why she took on a new route, and why she did not take proper supplies. Clearly, national parks are not always the spirited paradises they're told to be. It seems some spots are more dangerous than others. Yosemite, which features in 2 of these cases, accounts for about a quarter of the money the National Park Service spent on search and rescue. Hopefully, these stories don't discourage you from adventure, but remind you to always be prepared. But what do you make of these mysteries and disappearances? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.